One thing definitely worth taking a look at on the point cloud is the effect that the particle color has on the render. We've been modifying the particle color and setting the alpha, and I can see that the initial alpha we set just hasn't been overridden, in the sense that no matter what I've done, I haven't been able to remove the lack of alpha. So I'm actually going to go back in and apply full opacity to every one of these nodes. Because they don't factor into my render tree anyways. And right away, you'll notice that the intensity of the emission at frame 2 is far more significant. So that's going to help me to get that initial flash of white back in my render tree. If I move through the simulation to some of the later frames, we end up getting the look that we were initially after. And as the particles die off, we get that definitive debris, different burning temperature look to the cloud that we're after. If we keep on moving through the simulation, so I could probably take the overall scale of this effect down somewhat. The scale is a little ridiculous. I'll get rid of some of those smaller little nodules. Try and make the effect look a little larger, or a little smaller, so the scale isn't quite so large. And I could even just take the bias back a little bit. Introduce a bit more brightness between the cracks. So if I check out the last few frames of the simulation, we've got a trend moving towards blackness as the particles slowly fade out. To nothing. Okay, so I think that's actually looking pretty good. I think we could probably start a render here, but first we need to involve our scene in this explosion. On the first frame of the explosion, we want to have a flash of white, and then have the color of the particles influence the color of the set. So let's look at integrating a light into our ice tree.